There were three elderly men playing golf. And while playing golf, they had a kind of break, and one said, "It is windy, isn't it?" And the second guy immediately replied, "No, it is Thursday." And the third guy said, "Yes, I'm ready for another beer." All three of them, while playing one golf, were on three different levels of understanding. Nowadays, so many movies come out on every weekend, right? But for a movie which is coming up already in summer or even for Christmas in December, when you go to the theaters, you'll have the first 10 minutes, the trailers, right? The trailers already create in you that curiosity. You already mark your calendar, this movie is going to be released for Thanksgiving or for July 4th or even for Christmas. The trailers create in us a kind of curiosity. But is the trailer the movie? No, it's only a grasp of it, right? But the trailer creates in you an intense desire to look towards the launch or the release of the movie. Today, Jesus tells towards the end of the gospel, Jesus charged them, "Do not tell the vision to anyone until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." He took James, Peter, and John together with him to the mountain to show them the trailer. How Jesus would look like when he is fully glorified after he is raised from the dead. That's why he's telling them, "I just showed you the trailer, okay? Keep it secret. Don't give the passcode to everybody." So let them go through the Lent, go through the Passion, and then prepare them to experience resurrection. But what a wonderful opportunity for James, Peter, and John to view the trailer of Jesus being glorified. His clothes shone as white as light, dazzling brightness. So the second Sunday of Lent gives us the invitation to meet Jesus on the mountain. Last week, where did Jesus take us? To the desert. Next week, he will take us to the well. And the fourth week, he will take us and meet us on the street. And the fifth week, he will meet us at the tomb. And on the Passion Sunday, the Palm Sunday, we will meet him in Jerusalem. Now he is on his way from Galilee to Jerusalem. Almost halfway through, he sees this Mount Tabor. See how progressive the gospel text is. From Galilee, he is moving upwards towards Jerusalem. Now he is on way where he encounters this experience of being transfigured on Mount Tabor. Nowadays, we call something like selective listening. People listen to what they really want. And also, we talk to people not to give them our attention, but we talk to people to reply for them, to reply them with what we want to say. So while somebody is talking to me, I'm not actually listening to him or her. I'm preparing in my mind, devising in my mind how and what I should respond with. Today, God tells Peter, James, and John, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." At baptism, the Spirit of God came down on Jesus in the river Jordan. What did it say? "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." That's it. But today it says, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased, and listen to him." When we listen to him, when we do as Jesus does, we will be glorified. And the readings beautiful unpack the truth. The first reading, Abraham was called, "Go forth from your land, leave your kinsfolk, and leave your father's house to the land I will show you." It's like someone is working for an IT company or, big multinational company. I go and say, "Hey, come on, leave your job, come follow me." what would they do? Do you think they follow me? They won't. Look at the amount of trust that Abraham had in listening to God's voice. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. So we see in the first reading the vocation of Abraham. Right? The vocation of Abraham. That's why the psalm beautifully summarized that. Lord, let your mercy be on us as we place our trust in you. Abraham did place trust in God. That's why he is made the father of the nations. In the second reading, we hear Paul telling Timothy, and Timothy was a travel companion for Paul. So Paul was telling Timothy, God saved us and called us for what? Not simply to live a basic life. God called us to a life of premium life. What is the premium of Christianity? To a holy life. Not according to our works, but according to Him. That's why God said in the gospel reading, this is my beloved Son, listen to Him. We are called not just to do our own agendas, our own priorities and criterias. We are called to a holy life, not according to what I want. There is no relativism of morality. God is telling me what to do. Listen to Him as we place our trust in Him. And the gospel reading, we see Jesus being transfigured, glorified in body, already giving us a trailer of what resurrection would look like. But we share in this glorified body through the Lenten season, Lenten observances, Lenten practices of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Again, let us not make them our works. Right? Sometimes fasting could become more about me. Prayer could become, hey, look guys, how I'm praying. It becomes more about myself. My actions of charity speak more about myself than about the God who is actually prompting me to engage in charitable works. That's why second reading says, not according to our works, but according to God. That's why listen to Him on the mountain. Right? Once a mother was telling his friend, hey, look at my young son. Isn't he exactly like his father? And the guy replied, yes, but don't worry, as he grows older, he will probably change and look better. Right? That is what we are called to do today. Yeah, we are on the mountain, but let's not just settle with how we look like. Because transfiguration is aiming towards how we should look like Jesus when we are truly transfigured. And that comes from, as Paul tells Timothy, not according to how I live and what I want to live with, but leading a holy life. Leading a holy life. The tragedy is that nowadays, while we fulfill our bodily desires, what I want to do, the sin is making our lives incapable of looking towards heavenly things. That's why Jesus was transfigured almost on the mountain close to heaven. What did Peter say? Lord, let us pitch the tent here. This is like being in heaven. And Jesus said, hey Peter, come on, this is only a trailer. The more things are coming up. Be prepared for that. After the first Sunday of Lent, we made a choice for the things of heaven in the desert, didn't we? The Satan tempted Jesus, turn these stones into bread and eat. But what did God say? Jesus say, the man does not live on bread alone. Yeah, he needs bread, but that's not the soul and end of it. He lives from what comes from heaven. Today, the Lord shows us on the second Sunday of heaven, of how heaven looks like in our true glorified body as Jesus was transfigured. Today, our prayer in this Lent is, Lord, let me take a pause in this Lent and see the dazzling beauty of your glory, like Peter, James, and John on the mountain. So that as I look at you in your radiance and in your beauty, I prepare myself to embrace the same transfigured body through my prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Transfiguration awakens in us a sense of wonder. It awakens in us a world of mystical consciousness. Wow, this is wonderful to be here. Let us pitch the tent. But if you want to experience that glorified nature of how Jesus was transfigured, let us live the Lenten journey well, with commitment, not according to what I want, but according to what God wants, by living a holy life. Therefore, this is my beloved Son. Listen to him. Listen to him. As Jesus meets us on the mountain. The covenant that God made with Abraham, I will make you a great nation. Not when you do what you want to do, but when you do what I tell you to do. Right? And God is going to unpack within us great things when we listen to him, tune our ears to him. Not selective listening, but total surrender to God's voice. Transfiguration shakes us out of our spiritual complacency. What I am doing, how I am doing, what I am doing is right, that is complacency. And transfiguration also tells us there is more to it than what meets the eye. That's why Jesus said, don't go and tell everybody. This is just the beginning. More is coming. And mountain, in every circumstance, the meeting place of the ordinary and the extraordinary. Ordinary people like Peter, James, and John, meeting the extraordinary person of Jesus on the mountain, truly glorified. Right? So we are on that mountain on the second Sunday of Lent. Our ordinary lives are meeting the extraordinary beauty of Jesus, his radiance, his glory, as he is transfigured. This is an elevation of who I am and also a descent of the divine. God is coming down on the mountain as I am making myself up towards the mountain. It is the meeting point of myself and the descent of the divine. There, what happens is my glorification. But not when I do what I want to do, what my body is telling me to do, but when I truly listen to him. Greek word is metamorphosis, which means changed in form, glorified. Transfiguration suggests and challenges us what we are about and what we can become when we truly listen to Jesus. How our bodies can be glorified when we mend our ways, when we tune our ears, when we give up our passions and truly listen to God. Second reading, Timothy was given that advice. You are called to a holy life. Base your life. Fill your taco with the ingredients that are truly that of God. Right? Not according to what I want. Glorified body is also what is something emerging to be more beautiful. So transfiguration is myself right now being a caterpillar. When I am truly glorified by listening to God and by living a holy life, I become a beautiful butterfly. Nobody wants to look at a caterpillar, right? It's not a good thing to look at, but everybody wants to appreciate the beauty of the butterfly. But that beauty comes when I'm able to bend myself to God's tuning. When you want, John plays guitar so well, right, John? Right? Why are you laughing? You play well. Yeah. When you want your guitar to tune and sound well, what do? You pull the strings, don't you? So, Lent, on the second Sunday of Lent, God is pulling the strings on the mountain so that we don't just be a caterpillar, but mold ourselves into become a beautiful butterfly. That's our glorified calling. That's our vocation. But we become a beautiful butterfly when we listen to God on the mountain. That's foundational. That's categorical. Lent is the time to make this transition from being a caterpillar to becoming a butterfly through prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So we not only gain sight, but we gain vision. Our scales begin to fall apart. Then I see Jesus in his glorified nature. Transfiguration liturgically falls on August 6th. But why does the church give us during Lent? So that you and I constantly focus and fix ourselves on the things that really matter, things of heaven, things that give us render happiness. But that comes when you and I listen to God, seeing Jesus in his glorified body. In this Lent, on the second Sunday of Lent, may we journey from being that spiritual caterpillar to becoming a spiritually matured butterfly in our glorified nature. But that comes foundationally, primarily, by listening to Jesus, as God says, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him on the mountain, on the Mount Tabor, on the second Sunday of Lent." Amen.